Right meow. Let's see. Ah, you're
Hello,
live.
everyone.
Good evening. Happy
And
Thursday, as
we're
Hadley
back
said.
on StreamYard, people. So hopefully everybody knows where we're at.
Yeah,
I didn't send
I
a
posted
reminder out tonight, but
Oh, no problem.
we can send
I
one now.
posted one out on my page, but I don't know. Oh, we got one.
I posted this morning on my page.
So what's the name of tonight's show? I was thinking Shenanigans.
I saw that you had posted Shenanigans. I'm good with
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we'll go with the Shenanigans. How are you two doing tonight?
It is
Good.
not streaming on our normal.
Oh,
I don't know why, but
I've got
I'll
here. I've
figure
got
it
it
out
on
later.
Facebook. Yeah, okay. Because here I got it on Facebook and I have it on YouTube.
Fred. Hi.
So,
Fred, everybody.
Hey Tina. Well, I
Hey,
think she's talking
Tina.
to you, Scott. I think she's talking to you right now.
Oh, yeah, she is when she says freaky people.
So, what are our?
Oh,
go ahead,
Fred.
Scott. I had Mike Lewis.
She just Hadley asked how things were. I just about 30 minutes before we came on, I finished the first draft of my World Gone Dark Solar Flare book.
Oh, that sounds spooky. Is it a scary zombie book?
No, it's a Solar Flare. It's a 15 authors, including Rich, writing a Solar Flare book based on one incident. And like the incident takes place and everybody's writing a book about it from different characters' perspectives.
I am so upset that I don't get invited to do this fun stuff that y'all do.
Well, I think we had to pay each other. I think we had to pay a lot of money. But yeah, check out my Facebook page or my the website, because I listed it on there today, what it's about, who the authors are, and when we're getting published.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Dungeon Dan.
Hey, Dungeon Dan, Greg, Mike.
Good to see you all.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Tina. I'm losing my voice, too. We've been having terrible weather here.
Oh, yeah. Allergy season up here has been killing us.
Well, it's been like 950 degrees outside. And then, like, the last 2 days, we've had these, like, horrific thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. I don't know. It's got everything all stirred up.
Yeah, it's been nice here.
Well, so what did y'all think about this week's movies?
This is the first time I've been entertained by all three movies.
I was very interested in Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. I loved Flypaper. And Instigators, I don't know, to me, it was not bad, but it fell kind of flat.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, well, let's get into it.
All right. Who's got what?
Well, how about, since Rich wanted to do Instigators, but he's not here tonight, unfortunately. He's having power issues and work issues tonight, so he couldn't join us, unfortunately. Do you want to do Instigators, Hadley?
I can.
Do you want to do it? And because that way I'll do Denver and Scott will do Flypaper.
Yeah, that's good, because I didn't watch Denver.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So Instigators is a new Apple TV movie that just came out like last weekend. And it's got Matt Damon and Casey Affleck in it. And it's kind of like a drama comedy heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was cute. I really like Casey Affleck. I like him better than I like Ben. I think that he's got more range as an actor. To me, Ben Affleck always kind of falls flat. He's one of those that in every movie, it's Ben Affleck as, Batman or whatever. And so he actually produced or directed this. I think Casey Affleck wrote it. And I just really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed seeing Matt Damon again, kind of in a meteor role. So The Instigators is about, let's see, trying to think who else is in it.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah,
Ving
Ron
Rhames.
Perlman. Ving Rhames, how can I forget? So the movie starts off with Matt Damon, and he's at his psychiatrist's office, and she is the cutest thing ever. I think her name is Hong Chow, and I'm probably saying that wrong.
Hong Chow, that's right.
Hong Chow. Hong Chow.
Hong Chow. And
Hong Chow.
he's got some severe depression. He's divorced. He's got a teenage son. He's a vet. He's he just doesn't have much to live for. And he confides in his psychiatrist that he's made a deal with himself that if things are like this in a year, he might just end it all. And she's like, well, when did you make this deal? And he says a year ago. So he gets roped into this heist with this. I don't know who that guy was, but he played a jackass so good. Does anybody know that kid's name?
No.
Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow. I believe he was in that the first Transformer movie with Wahlberg, I think.
Okay. Well, Jack Harlow is this kind of sleazy kind of guy that he's a criminal. Casey Affleck actually served time covering for a mix-up that this guy had with his brother. And so he's recently out of prison. He's, an alcoholic, and you just kind of he's just down on his luck. Well, there's this heist that this Jack Harlow's character is trying to organize because he has pissed off these gangsters. I'm guessing gangsters. It's played by oh gosh, is it Alfred Molina?
Alfred Molina, yeah. Doc Ock from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'll recognize him. I know by his face. And the other guy, I recognize him too, but again, I can't think of his name. Anybody? You'll recognize it's an old guy. He's playing like there's like a butcher, and of course it's taking place in Boston, so everybody's kind of probably got ties to some kind of criminal activity.
They had good accents.
Well, aren't they from there?
Yeah,
yeah.
I know Damon is. I'm not sure about Affleck.
Well, yeah, because Ben Affleck's his brother.
Well, that's true.
So, anyway, so it's all taking place in Boston, and they're go to the worst heist ever. It's election night. That's when they have it timed where this is going to happen and this is going to happen. They're going to be able to roll in and make off with all this money because they've got it timed down to, what was it, 6:07 at the time.
Yeah.
That the pickup guards will be there with the armored vehicle, and everything just went to shit because Ron Perlman is the mayor and he is a crook, and he thought he had the election in the bag, and he loses dramatically, and he won't give up because they have so much money tied up and all of kickbacks that he's been taking for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And so it just spirals out of control. I don't want to ruin it for anybody because I feel like it was worth watching. I feel like it was a good movie. It was new. It was fresh. It had some funny parts in it. It was really good to see the comfort level between Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. You can tell they're real comfortable playing off each other, and I really liked it. So I'm not going to say it's the best movie I've seen, but I'm going to say if you're home on Friday night and you're got nothing to watch and you have Apple TV, it's worth putting in.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if Scott enjoyed it as much as we did, so I'll go, Scott, and then we'll let you be the
bad guy.
I like this movie a lot. I'm a big fan of Casey Affleck, but he plays the same character in every movie, from Tower Heist to Ocean's 11. He plays that same character. He's sarcastic, wisecracking, but he carries that character well. And he was great in this. The little things he would say, he played off Matt Damon's straight man, because Matt Damon was ultra, just worried about things, nervous throughout this whole movie. I liked when they gave him a gun and he had to tell people he had a gun when he was committing crimes, at the last minute. And he's always taking notes, trying to, with this crime when they're walking it through, he's taking these notes. What are you doing? I'm taking notes. And he's like, for a criminal, conspiracy. But it had a lot of humor in it. It moved pretty fast because the robbery happens pretty quick. And then when they pick up the therapist and they take the therapist as their hostage, that's funny. She's great. She was great in it too. The three of them together were had good chemistry. And Ving Rhames was menacing, but I think he was underused.
Yeah.
Same with Alfred Molina. He was underused. Ron Perlman, not a big. I used to be a big fan of his, but not now because he opens his mouth every time he gets and garbage comes out. But he was underused in this. It was entertaining. I was surprised because I talked to somebody that thought it was kind of meh, and I thought it was more than that. I ended up watching it in 4 parts because we were doing stuff, so we kept coming back to it. But it was. I enjoyed it. I do recommend this if you have Apple TV or a way to see this movie. I advise you to get it. It's a Ocean 11-ish. It's a caper film. Things don't go as planned. It's worth the watch if you like those kind of movies. Scott?
Or if you're from Boston.
Or if you're from, yeah, well, somebody from that area told me it was meh. So I don't know what they think. Scott's got a better handle.
I liked this movie, but it was my least favorite of the 3 this time around. But okay. Yeah, it's a comedy heist. It's not like slapstick comedy. It's comedy heist because when they go in to get the money, they had no clue that the money had already been transferred out earlier. There's like maybe $100 in the thing, in the safe, and then it all starts going downhill from there. The acting on it, the actors were great. Ron Perlman made a perfect, corrupt Boston mayor. He just, he was perfect in that role. And the Asian girl, she was the best part to me of the whole thing. Hong Chow.
Yeah.
Because, they wanted to go, you said that they kidnapped her. They really didn't. She forced them to say, I'm kidnapping you. So she could go with them. And then she sticks with them throughout the whole thing. And what's funny is, and I don't want to give anything away, everybody gets what they deserve in this movie, one way or the other. It's a good, because at the end, Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, they sort of reach a point in their lives. I don't want to give anything. It's worth watching once. The actors in it are good. In addition to the ones we named, Toby Jones, the attorney.
Oh yeah.
And I love his name was Flynn, which reminds me of Mayor Flynn of Boston from a while ago. He was good. Jack Harlow, Alfred Molina. It was a good cast. It's just, I think the movie could have been a little bit more comedic. It wasn't meant to be a serious heist movie, but it didn't have the same level of humor that Flypaper did. But it's not a bad movie. Acting is good. Cinematography is good. There are some really great scenes in it. I recommend watching it. I just don't think this will be a movie a lot of people are going to watch twice.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. What I like is when the new mayor comes in. He's supposed to be, you know,
Yeah.
not corrupt and fresh
Yeah.
faced, and then they, which works out, you know,
Yeah.
in their favor. But it's great when the guy's
And you
talking
did
about all the money.
you did watch through the credits, right?
We did, but we didn't see anything. There was an end of credit scene?
There's about 5 minutes into the credit scene. There is a very funny scene with the new mayor that is so true for politics.
Man, okay, I got to go back and check that out
Okay,
because
yeah.
we missed it.
It's not at the
Yeah.
end of the credits. It's like right after they do the main names and that.
Okay. Okay, I gotta check that out because we were looking, but we kind of skipped forward a little bit, so we probably missed
Yeah,
that.
you might have missed it because it wasn't a long scene.
Yeah, it's worth the watch. The sad thing is a lot of people don't have Apple TV.
No.
I know a lot of people don't have Apple TV.
No.
But it is worth
Which is a
checking out.
shame. It is a shame because Apple TV's got really good movies and series.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at what the other shows are putting out, I mean, especially if you got an Apple phone. But
Yeah. Tina said we tried to find something, but we'll have to go back and look, Scott.
Yeah.
Cue it up, Tina. Cue it up. But it's a good movie. It like the other actors, like I said before, were all underused. I even forgot about Toby Jones from Captain America and some other movies you've all seen. Yeah, he was definitely underused. And hey, Tony, welcome to the show. Alan, welcome to the show. Long time no see on some of you guys. Max, it's good to see her here tonight.
good to see everybody.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Ted Lasso, we did that one. That's a good show. Last season, not so much. But
They better do another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was last season the one when they were riding that bicycle? Because that was the best. When Roy was teaching Jamie how to ride the bicycle.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that was
hilarious.
I didn't think that season was as good as the first.
None of them are because it was unexpected. We weren't used to the joyfulness.
Godzilla series was pretty good. Yeah.
The Monarch series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a series, and I know that you are not a TV watcher like we are, Scott, but I will say that Apple has a series, and I cannot think of the name. It's something horses, and it is MI5, and it's a series starring Gary Oldman. And it is like the worst of the worst MI5 agents are part of this group. And it's got him, and I want to say it's got, God, what's her name? She's beautiful. She was in The English Patient. She's probably our age. She's like the head of MI5.
Okay. So it's a comedy?
Kind of not.
Okay.
It's kind of a spy caper stuff, but
I
want to say that Rich watched all of it, maybe, but they just released a new season, and I haven't started watching it yet, but I heard it's good.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to rate this one before we get down the rabbit hole, Hadley?
I'll give it a 3.5. It wasn't my favorite, but I felt like it was a solid movie for what it was.
Yeah. Scott, I agree.
3.
3?
That's a good 3, not my usual bad 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's comparing to the others, it's a 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a 4 just because when I talked to Max, he said it was meh. He says a meh. And so I wasn't expecting it much. And I enjoyed it.
I did too.
I both enjoyed it. So
I enjoyed it. I mean, maybe I should give it a 3.7. It just wasn't my 4 because we usually watch some really good stuff, and I was going to give my 4 to one of the other movies for tonight. So,
well, my expectations weren't much for it.
Yeah,
and I was pleasantly surprised. So I probably won't watch it again, because it's not one of those type of movies.
No,
like we said, but yeah.
Max,
decent.
I agree with you. Silo is a great series.
I haven't seen that.
watch it. It's a great dystopian series.
You know, I didn't care for the books. Or
I didn't even realize they were books until after I watched the first season.
Thank you, Max.
Okay,
yeah,
I've looked it
an
up.
indie writer.
I'm talking about Slow Horses. It is about a
Oh.
dysfunctional team of MI5 agents and their obnoxious boss, the notorious Jackson Lamb, who's played by Gary Oldman.
Oh, I've got to watch that.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm sure it'll bring back
Silo.
memories of my time with the agency.
The guy
Kristen
that wrote
Scott
Silo was
Thomas.
indie.
That's who's in it. Kristen Scott Thomas.
Oh, okay. Okay. I haven't seen her in anything in a while.
I know. This is a good show. I mean, it came out in April of 2022 and it's just released their next season. They've got 4 seasons out. So.
Okay. Yeah, we started watching SEAL Team again. It's the last season it's on. I like SEAL Team because it's old fashioned, good guy, bad guys. SEAL Team goes after the bad guys. You know, it's old, just old.
Is that the one with or it had Walter Goggins in it, or is it the one that had the guy from Buffy?
It had the guy from Buffy, David Boreanaz or whatever.
He's good. I love David.
I like the one that had Walter Goggins in it. I don't know what happened to it. What happened to that show?
It was I think it was a limited series, Hadley.
Oh, well, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. This one's good. And they even kill off some of the SEAL Team members every season. So, but it's the last season, so I enjoy it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's on Paramount Plus. I think there's several seasons, but it's how they do a season, like 2 seasons a year sometimes. It has that thing. Yeah, it has that. So there's like 7 seasons, but it's they're broken in half. So
fall and spring.
So Scott, do you want to do Flypaper?
Sure.
I want to give some feedback on Flypaper before we start. I found that movie by accident. I was just looking for something to watch. And I saw it and I thought, I've never heard of this. And I watched it and I said, well, we need to do this. And then when I saw the other movie come out, I feel like this was a really good pairing.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I had never seen or heard of Flypaper.
No. And I'll tell you why when I get to the end of it.
Okay, well, go ahead and shoot.
Flypaper is a comedy, but it's not like a slapstick comedy. It's just, I really enjoyed this movie. It starts with Patrick Dempsey plays a guy named Trip. He's severe ADHD. I mean, he's just over the top. And he goes to the bank and he goes up to Ashley Judd, Caitlin. He likes her. She's pretty. So he goes up and he wants to take, I can't remember, I think it's like $100 in coins out because he likes to count the coins. Yeah. And they're doing some flirting and that. And then all of a sudden, 2 groups of criminals break in. One of them is Tim Blake Nelson, Peanut Butter, and then I can't remember who the other guy was.
Vince Taylor Pruitt.
Vince Taylor Pruitt as
Jelly.
God, what was Jelly?
Jelly.
These 2 guys are rednecks. I mean, they are stereotypical. These guys are as dumb as a box of rocks, but they're lovable. They come in to steal the ATMs. Meanwhile, this 3-man team that's almost like Alan Rickman's crew from God, I can't even think of the name of it. Anyway, led by Mekhi Phifer, Darian. They show up to break into the vault. And the 2 groups are facing off. There's gunfire. Guy is killed. They take everybody hostage, and the criminals decide, okay, you guys take the ATM. We don't care. We're going to go break into the vault. And it just becomes hilarious from that point on because Patrick Dempsey is finding all these little, he's studying everything and he's finding out, Like, wait a minute, why are these guys here? And how come they're here at the same time? And the two crook teams are trying to get their money, and peanut butter and jelly are just too stupid. They can't open an ATM. They try opening it with C5 explosives, and like wreck the entire lobby. And the other three guys, as hard as they try, the system keeps on overwhelming them. It is, it's funny. Ashley Judd and Patrick Dempsey are flirting with each other. Curtis Armstrong plays the the second. He's the IT tech. He's the security IT person. Jeffrey Tambor is the head of the bank. Octavia Spencer from Hidden Figures. She's got a funny role in it. It's just a good movie. And, just he sees things that you don't see. And as it goes on, personally, I love the two rednecks. I thought they were the best. They were the best part of the movie. And they were just so sweet and so lovable. So dumb, but sweet and lovable. I really recommend this movie. It's very good. It's very funny. Now, no one's heard of this for the reason it was released. It was released in 2011. It had a budget of $5 million. On its opening weekend, it made $1,098. The entire gross in the U.S. and Canada was $5,043.
Oh, wow.
This movie was popular overseas, especially in Russia. Russia, for some reason, liked it. This movie made about $4.4 million worldwide. But when you figure, it came in at like 1% of its budget in the United States. I don't know why. It's funny. It's good-natured. It's got great acting in it. I enjoyed this one. I loved this movie. I will probably watch this one again.
I've seen this one before. We rewatched it today. We found it just like Hadley had. We were not like Craig says in there, but how we were just looking through movies, and Tina's like, "Hey, let's check this one out." And it was, I was pleasantly surprised. It's a fun caper movie with a lot going on. A great cast. You left out Matt Ryan, the man who should be Constantine, the Brit, the psycho Brit. Matt Ryan, the guy that played Constantine in the TV series and in the DC cartoon verse. Perfect Constantine,
I knew he looked familiar, but I didn't know where from. So thank you for
Yeah. No, he was Constantine.
I haven't
Hey,
seen
Ash,
that.
good to see you. Yeah, he's great as Constantine. Anyway, and Rob Hubel, the guy that was trying to order the massage, that dude's hilarious. He's in everything from The Office to this movie, playing the same kind of character. I think he's a stand-up comedian, but he does all these comedic roles. Fun movie, and you got to guess who the big bad guy is, too. I don't want to give that away, but who. Because there's a big bad guy run throughout this thing, and there's a murder. Also, at the beginning, one of the customers gets shot, and you got to figure out who shot the customer. And Mekhi Phifer, his group, hey Doc, they're all high tech. They've got the big guns and everything, and then you got the two yokels, like you said, Scott, peanut butter and jelly, and they're great. Tim Blake Nelson plays a great yokel. I mean, he's what's that movie he did with George Clooney and
Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes. Yeah. It's like he brought that character in from there.
Yeah.
He's great. It's great. So's his partner, Pruitt Vince Taylor, something like that. Taylor Vince, something like that. That guy's great. He's great in that movie where they're stuck in the motel during a rainstorm. There's a murder. And you got to figure out who did it. It's John Cusack's in it. I can't remember the name of it. And there's a twist ending. He plays the killer in it. Anyway,
it's in a hotel. It's like something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's during a storm, and John Cusack's like a disgraced FBI agent, and they're trying to solve the murder. Anyway, that guy's great. Watch him in anything. Good movie, Scott. Good pick, Hadley. Definitely.
Yes.
You should watch it if you haven't seen it. I don't want to give anything away because it's one of those movies where you do have to figure out what's going on at the end.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you want a double feature, watch both these movies together because I think you'll have a fun night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, they both are similar in the same vein.
Yeah.
But I agree. Flypaper was much better, and I can't believe it did so poorly. It must have been. I mean, something must have happened. Like
Well,
some huge movie must have been released that weekend.
Ashley Judd is not a marquee name. To me, she was like the
She's
worst
really
part.
good though.
Yeah, but to me, she was like the worst part of this movie, the worst acting in this movie, I think. That's just my opinion. Patrick
Well, I mean,
Dempsey, he's got a draw, from his Grey Anatomy crowd.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's funny because that guy, I remember seeing that guy back in the 80s in You Can't Buy Love or something like that, where he plays
yeah.
this nerd mowing, trying to win the heart of the girl. And, he's like, man, this guy looks like a nerd, and now he's, Mr. Suave and DeBoner. So
He's
anyway,
definitely not suave in this movie.
no, no, good character in this movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what I loved about this. Everybody played their role to character. Curtis Armstrong was just the great office geek. Peanut butter and jelly made the perfect yokels.
Yeah.
The other guy, you pronounced his name properly. I didn't. I loved him in House. He was just the perfect butthead leader of the group, of his group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah. Oh yeah. He was good in Buster Scruggs. Tim Blake Nelson. He was the best part of that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen Buster Scruggs. It's a weird ass western.
No.
But Tim Blake Nelson's in that. Great character in that. I haven't seen Old Henry. Identity. Thank you, Tony. That movie where I was trying to name was Identity with Cusack and Vince Truitt. Whatever. Anyway. So Hadley, you got any more thoughts on this?
I'm gonna give this one a 4. I liked it. Like I said, it was one of those that when I saw it, I thought y'all have got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always do that, but when I see something, because y'all know I watch a lot of movies, when I see something I haven't seen before that's that old, I feel like it might be a forgotten gem that maybe needs to be shared.
It is. Well, it is a forgotten gem because it's a fun movie. It's a good caper flick.
Yeah.
Well, and
Scott.
it was unexpected and fresh. I mean, it wasn't what you normally
Mhm.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
Especially the
was what
ending.
was work that was is what worked for the Matt Damon Casey Affleck movie was again, it's not something you see where it's just a, cluster duck of issues happening, because
Right.
I think my favorite part, and I'm going to ruin this for whoever, but it's not really a spoiler, but in the other movie when Casey Affleck, he'd already gotten shot and he thinks he gets shot again. And that was just funny
Yeah.
because I would have done
Yeah.
that. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, so what are the chances? But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I like that when he got shot twice. That was good.
Same arm.
Scott, what do you give us?
I'm going to give this
Yes.
a 4
Yes.
point. I'm going to give this a 4.3. I was really entertained by this movie.
He had to up me. He had to do the 0.3.
No, I was going to give it over a 4 anyways.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 4. It was fun. I've seen it twice now, and it was still held up. It was worth seeing. So
It is
look for the six
always
on
a
Paramount.
pleasure to see that many actors, and again, it is something
Mhm.
from both movies carried is they both have a really good cast of character actors,
Yes.
and it
Yeah.
is just always fun to watch that many people work together.
Yeah, it is. Most definitely. Most definitely. Um, So go out and watch this one. It's on Paramount Plus, I believe YouTube, and somewhere else. If you haven't seen it,
Yeah,
it's out
you'll
there
enjoy
for
it.
free right now. These other ones weren't. Well, do you want me to do things to do in Denver when you're dead? Then,
Yes, because I did not get to watch it since it's a renter.
Hadley, you need to see this one. You really
I
do.
know. I'm disappointed.
It's Tarantino-esque.
Ooh.
You know,
Yeah.
came out in '95. It's got a hell of a cast: Andy Garcia, Christopher Lloyd, William Forsythe, Bill Nunn, Treat Williams, um, Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi,
Sounds like a great
uh,
cast.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Christopher Walken,
Oh.
Gabriel Anwar from Burn Notice.
Did you say
It's
Christopher Lloyd?
it's just great. It's a great flick, and I guess I should describe what it's about. Andy Garcia is a low-level uh, mobster. He's trying to go clean. He makes these afterlife videos, where you can talk to your loved ones, tell them what you think of them or whatever you want after you're gone. So that's his business. Well, anyway, he gets recruited by Christopher Walken to Christopher Walken's son's this dirtbag that messes with kids, and he got arrested. He's out on bail, and he thinks that if his son gets back with his girlfriend, who just broke up with him, it'll cure him of messing with kids. So him and his crew, Treat Williams, Christopher Lloyd, Bill Nunn, and I think William Forsythe, they go to get the girlfriend, right? To get back with him. Well, they end up, I'm gonna give this part away. They end up killing the girlfriend on accident. So then this just sends everything just rolls downhill on this. I gotta let somebody in outside. They're banging on the door.
Okay.
You want to go on with this, Scott?
Sure.
I'll be okay.
Yeah. Once Treat Williams is the one. Treat Williams should never be in this. I mean, he's fantastic in this movie, but he is just over the top with anger issues. And he gets upset. The girlfriend winds up getting killed. And now the girlfriend is Christopher Walken. Oh, that's right. She's not his daughter. So now Christopher Walken is pissed off beyond belief, and he wants to put a contract out on all of them. But he's willing not to put the contract out on Andy Garcia. But all the others are going to go. What was it? What was the term they used? That they weren't just going to be hit.
Oh yeah, crap. What was that term? Oh damn it!
I know.
I'm trying to remember.
But he hires this hitman, Steve Buscemi, who this role is so unlike Stephen Buscemi. He barely says a word through the whole thing. And he's the hitman, but he doesn't just kill you. He doesn't just take
Buckwheats.
Yeah. He doesn't just take you out. He takes you out slowly and painfully. And then the rest of the movie devolves into Andy Garcia trying to get his guys out of there, trying to get his crew to get away. And for various reasons, some of them won't. I mean, I'll take it from here. It's the cast in this is, as Alan was saying, is phenomenal. Christopher Walken, this is one of his most twisted roles. I mean, at the very end, near the end, when he was trying to make Andy Garcia beg for his life, I'm just like, oh man, that is effed up beyond recognition. Christopher Lloyd does a fantastic job. Treat Williams is over the top in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to him playing like action hero types. In this one, it's like he's such an asshole. You're dying to see something happen to him.
Yeah.
William Forsythe was great in this. Buscemi was, like I said, I loved him in this because there's like one scene in the alley where these 5 guys are beating up this one guy, and he goes in very quietly to intervene, and they give him shit, and most of them wind up not making it out of the alley. But it's so low key for him when we compare him to like Armageddon. The whole cast in this thing rocked. I was so impressed with it. It's not a lot of action. It is somewhat slow paced, but it's not because it's like a crime movie or a heist movie. There's a lot of drama in this. All of these guys who effed up their lives one way or the other. And the only one who was trying to get out of it was Andy Garcia. And what happens to all of them throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's
kind of depressing.
It's got a great cast. I mean, it, like you said, Treat Williams, playing Critical Bill. He's holed up in his house, and he's pooping in jars and stuff. He's a fecal freak. That part is insane. It doesn't do him any good, but and Christopher Lloyd, it's always good to see him and stuff. And William Forsythe, he's just been typecast as a bad guy forever. But this is well worth the watch. It's well written. The only thing I didn't think the chemistry between Andy Garcia and Gabriel Anwar was that great.
Gabriel Anwar, which one?
Gabriella or Gabrielle.
Yeah,
she's the his girlfriend. That I didn't. I understand why it was there. That was the least likable part of the movie for me.
Yeah, but it's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah,
great soundtrack. Warren Zevon did the title song "Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead," and it's really good. I've got the soundtrack, but this is worth watching, Hadley. It's got a lot of twists and turns. Great actors you've seen in everything. Yes. Andy Garcia should have been a bigger star. I think this was one of the best roles he had. So good flick. What would you give it, Scott?
I'm going to give this one a solid 4.
I'll give it a 4 too.
Yeah,
because I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah. So, see, I had missed the opening credits. I was doing something. And then when the movie started, and I'm like, all of a sudden, holy shit, there's William Forsythe. Holy crap, there's Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. It's like Flypaper. It's just chock full of actors that you're like, oh, okay.
And there was one death that I really felt bad for. And that was the one Andy Garcia commits.
Oh, yeah.
I really felt bad for that because it was a very extremely powerful scene.
Yeah. I think he felt he was the one that started it all. That. But
then I don't want to get any more to it. But it's definitely worth a watch. This is a cult classic.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. So Hadley, you should watch it whenever you can see it. You should watch it.
I'll have to do that.
And Landa's with us.
Hey, Landa.
Yeah.
Hi, Landa.
Yeah. So what do we got? What do you want to wrap? We got a few minutes. What do you want to wrap it with? Hadley,
I want to ask one thing. Oh. Hadley, next week, the movie we have listed is Unthinkable. Is that the one with Samuel Jackson?
I think we're redoing our schedule, aren't we? We're doing our countdown to Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because if it's the one I think it is, that movie, when I saw it, blew me away.
We did that one.
What I did,
it was good.
Because we're doing our countdown to Halloween, was I came up with that for y'all to fill in the blanks. That I just plugged in what we had scheduled, and if one of the things that we had scheduled kind of fit in with a countdown to Halloween theme, I put it in there.
Okay.
So, I left it in.
We got psychological thrillers, Unthinkable, then horror comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your job is to fill in the blanks. I'm
Okay.
leaving that to y'all.
Psychological.
And I was trying to get y'all to start a new series with me. Um, and it's
Time
that
Bandit, right?
no, well, we Time Bandit. It's just isn't that good.
Okay.
But Bad Monkey started this week. It's an Apple TV show. They don't read their emails, do they, Max? But Bad Monkey started. It stars Vince Vaughn, and when I tell y'all that this was delightful, it's fucking great. I love it. The first episode, they only have 3 out right now. I'm rewatching the second one right now. When I get off of here, I'm gonna go rewatch it. And I haven't seen the third yet. But it is so good, and it is Vince Vaughn at his best.
I love this one.
Well, and he is just killing it. I mean, just like little things he says, I'm like, oh my God, he's just such a good actor. He's so underrated.
Is it a
And
comedy?
it is a comedy. It is a caper. It's another one. He plays a police officer in Key West that is kind of on suspension because of some stuff that he did that got videoed. But it's not what you think. It's nothing like bad. He basically there was this older gentleman that is married to a very young woman who is having an affair with Vince Vaughn, and he hit her and he saw her face, and the guy found out about their affair, and Vince Vaughn was behind him. He was on his golf cart, and he ran him into the water at the marina. And so he got suspended because all the tourists had videoed it with their phone. And
Sounds like a
it's
Vince
just so
Vaughn thing.
he's and that this is a very has nothing to do with what's going on, but it's just he's on leave and he wants his badge back and all this stuff is going on, and these fishermen find this arm of just an arm when they're out fishing. They reel it in, and his one job he has is to take it to Miami for the coroner to, look at it and then to get rid of it. But he can't do it.
Wow.
He thinks there's something weird about that arm, so he keeps it.
It sounds good. I love Vince Vaughn.
Well, when I say I know y'all are gonna love it, it's really good. So
he
Sadly,
was good in oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You first.
Oh, I was about to say he was good in the season he played the bad guy in True Detective. He was real good in that.
he was.
No,
He's
see, my
better.
favorite.
This is Vince Vaughn. Great. Y'all are gonna love him. He's so good in this.
I hate to admit it, my favorite Vince Vaughn movie is Dodgeball.
Yeah. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I loved him in that.
Well,
that's a classic.
I'm gonna say that I think so far from what I've seen, this is my favorite acting I've ever seen come out of him.
Okay, all right.
He did this weird movie called Brawl in Cell Block 8 or something like that. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh my God, yes, that was the
It is.
serious one.
Yeah, it is so out there though. Oh my gosh. And it doesn't have a good ending. It's a crazy movie.
No, but oh my God, I was thinking, okay, this will have sort of a comedic flair to it. No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
It was dark as hell, but God, was he good in that one?
Yeah, it's crazy flick. I mean, bloody and brutal, really brutal. I forgot who played the warden in that. It was somebody you see a lot, but yeah, he's kind of got I think a little bit blacklisted in Hollywood because he's kind of conservative and he's a 2A guy. So I think he kind of gets blacklisted in a lot of stuff because he should be in a lot more. He's kind of coming back, huh?
2A?
He's a Second Amendment guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, yeah, he's very conservative, so.
Yeah. So I think he kind of gets, not in the movies that he should be in, but he's great to watch. And it's good to see him when he's out, that's that one with the guy. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, I disagree with you, Max. I thought Vince Vaughn was very convincing in that. I felt for Vince Vaughn
Hacksaw Ridge.
Not, I'm thinking Pork Chop Hill, but that's not. It's the guy on Okinawa who wound up
Hacksaw Ridge.
Thank you. That wound up saving those 75 wounded Marines. I thought he really did a good job as like trying to walk the line between, catering to his commanding officer and giving this guy the chance to do what he wanted to do. It was an unusual role for him, but I liked him in it.
That's another Sam Worthington role. He played the commanding officer, right? Another role for Sam. I don't know why he gets the roles, but.
And I just found out after watching Hacksaw Ridge that it's still there in Okinawa. They kept it. They haven't developed it like they've developed almost everything else. You could still go there and see the ridge he climbed up and where the battlefield was.
That's amazing.
I wished I'd known. I would have visited it while I was there.
Yeah, that's amazing. But so Bad Monkey's going to be our series to watch then, folks.
Yeah.
So
and then we'll have to think of a good psychological thriller to pair with Unthinkable.
Yeah. And then after that, it's horror comedy, right? And I think we've got those horror comedies picked out. I know one's Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. I don't know if we picked out a second one.
Yeah, I think Dale and Tucker versus Evil. We haven't done that
Dale
one.
and Tucker. Oh God, that's a classic.
And if y'all will fill those blanks in for me, I will get that released and in the next upcoming newsletter and out for the kids to see on our Facebook.
Greg, no, he's sitting there with that forlorn look because I won't play with him for an hour. I had to do something else. So,
Hadley, we're like herding cats.
I know. Well, y'all are seeing I've been kind of out of pocket for a little bit, and I think y'all are seeing how much I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know you do a ton. We just need to come together and
I know they will forget
work it out.
The CIA did not drug dogs. However, we did put listening devices in a cat once, and we were going to. I've heard two stories. One that we were going to put it in the Soviet embassy, and it was the cat was crossing the street to the embassy and got hit by a car. The other story is they got the second cat onto the ground, and it went into the embassy and went down into the basement to hunt mice. So we never picked up anything about what was going on.
Oh wow.
Landa, I've read the research on this, and they operated on the cat and put it along. I guess they put the microphone, inserted it in its coat.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they had a little transmitter and that. The whole thing was, they thought, the cat would go in and the ambassador would be petting it. And while the ambassador is petting it, he's talking with the head of the KGB about classified information. And no, it just ran around the basement killing mice.
Oh yeah, that's. I read that.
Yeah,
trying to get a penny out of here.
We did some stupid stuff. One of my favorite stories, I'm sorry, I just rambling, is some guy at the agency wanted to work for the Russians. So he printed like a huge stack of papers, brought them home, wrapped them all up in a package. And he put in the package, he put in the top, "Hi, my name is blah, blah. I work at this part of the agency. I'd like to work for you. Here's my phone number. This will prove that, I can provide what I say." He wrapped it up and threw it over the back wall of the Soviet embassy. The Soviets thought it was a bomb. They called in the local Washington, D.C. police, who brought in the FBI, who opened it up to defuse the bomb. And there was the letter right there from the guy saying, "Hi, I want to work for you."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Somebody asked me once, what was the most realistic version of the CIA? And I said, American Dad was probably more on mark than anything else.
You need to write a book, Scott.
Nobody would believe the stupidity that went on in there.
I keep telling him he needs to make bank on being one of those former CIA agents.
I know. But the good stuff I can't talk about.
Well, the rest of them are just making shit up, Scott.
Right?
They get all the
How
views. I mean, come on.
Hey,
No,
Scott, is there a time limit on, or do you forever not to have to talk about stuff?
I'm not allowed to talk about certain things. I'm not allowed to. If it becomes unclassified, I'll talk about it with people.
Okay.
But certain things that, I've never even told, like any of my my first wife, she worked for the agency. But no, a lot of stuff I have to keep completely hidden. I mean, it's so classified.
So with your first wife, were you like Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Is that
no? I was editing translated Pravda news reports, and she was the secretary. So I was more like Mr. Smith when I went over to the DO. But oh, Lando, I wish I had a harem. Yeah. I'm telling you, Craig, Sasquatches are just pets left by aliens.
Oh, they need to clean up after themselves. That's for sure. Jeez. Well,
what's that about, Alan? Do you have a Sasquatch at your golf course that's leaving you presents? I mean, what are you cleaning up after a Sasquatch for?
No, but I can imagine Sasquatch dumps are pretty nasty.
Oh,
just full of berries and pine straw. I mean, come on.
Well, can you imagine if they're your pet and they're taking your Sasquatch for a walk and you got to pick up after it? You know, you got a 30-gallon garbage bag instead of those little green bags.
Funny.
Nasty.
We've got 3 or 4 people around here who bought those life-size metal silhouettes of Bigfoot and keep on putting them in their yard. Like when I first got here, I almost ran off the road once thinking, is that Bigfoot?
Yeah, over in Northern California, there's a lot of those too. In some of those small towns, you'll be driving through and they got one of those silhouettes.
Alan is not the Bigfoot.
I only wear a size 11, so no, I'm not the Bigfoot on the course. I tell you though, I don't know what that bird was I saw, but shit, it had to have been that big. I put a video of it on my Facebook feed last week, and I don't know what it was, a pelican, which is weird for this area. This is a desert.
So
the way it was.
Was it a bird of prey or just a weird bird?
It was a weird bird. It was in one of the lakes there, and it was the way it was eating fish, though it looked like a pelican. You know, you could see it, but it was so far away I couldn't get close up on it. That was creepy. It looked like a monster, actually, compared to the other ducks out there.
Was it a pterodactyl?
Could have been.
Maybe pterodactyl.
Do you know that you cannot hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom? Because the P is silent.
You're such a dad.
Thank you.
All right, kids. That's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week. And like you heard, what's the topic next week?
Psychological horror.
So be on the lookout for what we're watching.
Yes.
And
thank you for joining us, everybody. I mean, we're back on StreamYard, and it looks like it's working
I think
great.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah. And hopefully Rich will be back with us.
Yeah,
yes.
Rich will be back, but this is the easiest thing we can do. We will see y'all soon.
That's going to do it for this week's show. For notifications each time the Wyrd Realities Network goes live, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You can expect fresh weirdness 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week. But before we depart, let me give a special shout out to our incredible patrons, Mike Lewis, Landis Saldana, and Alan Lassiter. We couldn't keep the lights on here at Wyrd without you. And a very special thanks to our partners that keep Wyrd Reality spinning. It's you guys who make our weird world go round. And if you're interested in supporting our endeavors, consider joining the Cabal of Wyrd over at Patreon. And keeping you entertained and bringing you new content is our goal with every cent that you donate. And if you are interested in partnering or sponsoring, Be sure to send us an email at weirdrealities@gmail.com. We are always interested in making new friends and creating a new tapestry of strangeness with you. So, until next week, kids, stay weird, you beautiful weirdos.